Hey guys, I'm Kate. Welcome back to my channel, and today I'm talking books. Bookish things that I love, that I hate, that I don't care about, but apparently everyone else does. And not necessarily story things per se, but then I have a couple of those too, so let's get into it. My first bookish pet peeve, or thing that I hate, is movie covers. Like this one. This is my Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants book. Can you see? There we go. And I actually don't know what the original book cover looks like, but just generally I'm not a fan. Like, I love this one, not this one. I love this one, not this one. If anything, I'd prefer that they just put that one little sticker on it that's like, soon to be a major motion picture. Let's just do that. But two of the examples that I showed you have other things that I irrationally hate, which is freaking stickers on the book. I buy a lot of my books secondhand, and there's so many stickers I cannot get off of the covers, and I didn't mind it so much until I started doing slightly more booktube-ish stuff. Like, I didn't like it before, don't get me wrong, but now every time I try and show a book and it's got the freaking price tag on it, because it just kind of looks gross, and it's not about the sticker, it's about the book, but all my mind sees is the sticker. Why? Do love half-price books though. Thank you, half-price books. The other thing that I don't like, and it usually happens with paperback books, I don't have a great example because I couldn't find it at the time, but it's like weird hand feel. Like, this one moves, but sometimes it just doesn't feel good in your hands to hold the book. And you're just like, I want to enjoy it. Reading a book should be like this relaxing experience, and if my hands are constantly like, or you know those pages that you can hear the page next to the other pages, like when you move them? No. Another pet peeve of mine, yellowed pages. This is an old book. It's Interview with the Vampire by Anne Rice. It's an old copy. It's, you know, when did this come out? I think this one's from 1988. This book's older than me, okay? So I get that it would be yellow. I understand. You're an older book, you're gonna be a little yellowed on the sides, but I gotta say, I'm not a huge fan. Do you see this? Now we're gonna move technically to the story parts of things, though it's not like I don't like the way they're told. Actually, I guess that is what it is, but I don't like prologues. There's so few prologues that I feel truly work, and this is just my opinion, and I know tons of people who love prologues and tons of people on AuthorTube who have prologues in their books, so this isn't like, this is just one person's opinion, okay? But I don't like them. And the reason I don't like them is because a lot of the time the story that they're telling, or like what they're prefacing, could be told throughout the rest of the novel. I feel like prologues are supposed to put you in a certain mood for the book. Very few times has it worked for me. That's all I'm gonna say. I will say one example that I truly loved a prologue for, and actually breaks the rule on the next pet peeve I don't like, so this is just an exceptional book for me, and that is A Caught a Witch. And for me, it totally nails it, where it really does get me in a mood, and it brought in a little bit more about the character that I think I needed to know when I was going into the rest of the book. So look, there are exceptions to how I feel, but just generally not a huge prologue fan. Another story-ish kind of pet peeve of mine is when the tense or point of view changes semi-randomly. An example of this is the Divergent books, the last book, which I will admit up front, I did not finish the last book. I don't plan on ever finishing it. I gave it away at a different time. I still love the first book though. Love Divergent. Anyways, that has a different point of view change than the first two books. Just for me, for the third book to have a different point of view, I am just not a fan. And you know, Harry Potter did this occasionally, where they'd have a chapter that was following Voldemort instead of Harry, though the entire rest of the book would be about Harry, or it would be following Snape. I totally get why it's done in Harry Potter's case. I totally get it. And in Divergent's case, I get that. I guess I get that too. I just don't like it. That's what I'm saying. It's a pet peeve. It doesn't have to be rational. I just don't like it, okay? Another thing I don't like actually happens to be when I'm scrolling through Amazon. I'm trying to make a conscious effort to read more self-published or indie published novels, and I don't necessarily know that this is any more true than in traditionally published novels, but maybe just in my experience when I'm scrolling through Amazon, I see a lot of very generic blurbs. I know that you don't want to give away the story, you want to kind of tease the story, but it's like, it's the end of the world, this girl must fight to save it, kind of thing. And I'm like, why is it the end of the world? What's special about this girl? And it's like, nothing's telling me that in the blurb. I'm just, oh, pet peeve. Another thing that I don't like, and I actually don't know which books of mine have it, but because I'm such a huge fan of secondhand stores and secondhand books, I don't like when another person's name is in the book, like on the front flap kind of thing. It doesn't ruin it for me, like I still buy the book, I just wish it wasn't there. I just wish it wasn't there. But that leads me to my next section, which is, I don't care about it, but apparently everyone else on BookTube does. And that's that I don't mind getting a secondhand book with notes written in the margins. I actually kind of like seeing someone else had this book before me and what they thought was interesting. Now the caveat of course is that you didn't highlight the entire page and you're not just writing dumb stuff, but like within reason, it doesn't bother me that much. Kind of enjoy it. And then the next thing I'm gonna mention that I don't care about, but apparently everyone else on BookTube does, is when I have a whole series and half of it's in hardback and half of it's in paperback. Or when the paperbacks are different sizes. I don't care. Now I'll say that I appreciate a pretty cover, but ultimately this is the Cirque du Freak series. This is book 1 and book 2. They're different sizes. And I don't care. That's fine. Again, I care more that there's a freaking sticker on the cover that I can't get off. I also don't care when they change covers halfway through. Like I mentioned the movie covers thing and that's a bit of a bummer, but like changing it other covers when you're updating it, not caring about this just ends up saving me money. I will say that my bookshelves do not look as pretty as other people's, but you know, that's okay. I also read a lot of nonfiction, and so I don't mind one way or the other about a lot of footnotes. I don't like footnotes when they bleed onto the next page and I'm left wondering where the footnote is and why it's a certain place. Like, that's kind of confusing, but ultimately having a huge chunk of footnotes, I don't really care. Other nonfiction readers I've met have been like, you're either team footnote or you're like anti-footnote. They're just footnotes. I don't know. And now on to my guilty pleasures slash things about books that I just kind of really like. And one of these things is where the spines are like, clearly you can tell that this book has been well loved, it's been used, it's been read multiple times, and the spine shows it. And I love that. I think that's so cool. And also it just makes holding the book open easier. So again, definitely means that my books aren't as pretty, but you know, that's just how it goes. Speaking of books not being as pretty, you're about to feel some kind of way about what I'm just doing. Dog-eared. Puppy-ear my pages. I don't care. I like that better. I don't have to carry a bookmark around everywhere. It's a very efficient system. Like, I know exactly where I left off at, and I will actually do it where if I left off right here, I will bring it down to exactly that part so I know what paragraph I left off at. So this works really well for me and I like it. If you ask some of my other bookish friends, that is akin to like committing a huge sin, but I'm still gonna do it. I will say don't worry if you're lending me books. I don't do it with other people's books. I don't do it with library books. Like, no, I get why other people don't like it. I will not put your book through that, but on my books, you can bet there's all kinds of dog ears. Ooh, those books are about to fall. They didn't fall, that's amazing. I also love additional materials in a book. Usually it's like some kind of Q&A, and I'll notice them more with romance books. I tried to find an example, but one of these is this Stephanie Plum series. I like different things in the back. It's just kind of fun. They tell you which new characters were introduced. It's just cool. I like it. Give me more stuff. Tell me how the writer wrote the book, you know. I feel like nowadays they have them a little bit less just because we have the internet, so we can find out how the writer wrote the book and their inspiration and whatever, but used to, they would be in the back of the books and I loved it. And finally, oh, there they go. They fell now. And finally, one of my absolute favorite things, and it's not a guilty pleasure, like, it's just a pleasure. As long as they're not yellow, colored pages I think are so cool. And I don't know why more books don't have them. It's probably more expensive, but there's just something about it. Oh, and thinking about this now. Maps and fantasy books? Yes, love maps. Thank you, Six of Crows, for having two of my favorite things in one. Alright, that's all for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and please comment down below and let me know what your bookish pet peeves are. If there's anything that everyone else seems to either hate or enjoy that you kind of feel neither way about, and also your favorite bookish things. I would absolutely love to hear about it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see y'all very soon with a new video. Bye. Are you gonna lay right down next to me? Are you gonna lay right next to me? Doge. I need like something to sit on because my leg always falls asleep. My foot is asleep. Ah! I should have prepared better because I had most of the books out, but where are you? I'm about to have to click off this video. Oh, I found it. Okay.